Hey everyone, so today I'm covering pilgrim passports and Compostelas. A pilgrim passport is the document that you carry with you to get stamped every single day to prove to the pilgrim office in Santiago that you've walked X number of kilometers. The Compostela is what you get from the pilgrim office in Santiago, providing that you've walked the last 100 kilometers. It's a religious document. I'm going to start by talking about the pilgrim passport. It's also known as a credencial, and there are two main ways to get them. The first is to order one before you leave for the Camino from your respective pilgrim association. From my research, what I could find is that there are organizations that cater to people from Great Britain, Ireland, the US, and Canada. These ones you need to order 1 to 2 months, probably at least, before you leave for the Camino, because these organizations are volunteer-based, they're non-profit. It'll take a while for them to send this out to you. Mine cost, I think, $15 in total. So this is a much more expensive way to get a credencial, but it's kind of nice to have one that's kind of more unique. You don't see them as often, not as many people have them. So I'll show you mine from the Canadian Company of Pilgrims. It looks like this. You might have seen it in other videos that I've made. They put your name and address in there for you, and then you start walking and you fill them up. You fill it up with stamps. On my Camino with this one, I walked from Saint-Jean to Santiago, and I filled it up just about halfway. So if you were doing a longer Camino, say the Via de la Plata, or if you wanted to get 2 stamps per day, this would have enough space for that. Your other option is to pick up a credencial when you get to France or Spain. On my second Camino, I opted to do that, and I got this one from the Camino office in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. The one from Spain is the same kind of idea. I think this cost €2. You write your name in there and everything, passport number, etc. And then this one folds out like this. So I think this is a kind of cool way because you could put this up on a wall or something, frame it like this, whereas this, it's bound like a book. You can't exactly display it. On this Camino, I probably walked about 450 kilometers because we took a bus from Burgos to Astorga, and I got this far on my passport. So there's 3 pages left, so that's about room for another 18 stamps. If you're walking from Saint-Jean to Santiago, if you do 1 stamp per day, this should be enough room. If you're doing a longer one, or if you want more stamps than you need, then you might need another one. Now, these can be picked up at the Pilgrim office in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port if you're starting there. If you're not starting there, you can check the albergues. If the albergues don't have any, you can check the cathedral, or the tourism office, or the police station. If none of them happen to have any, just buy a little booklet and start getting your stamps in there until you find somewhere that can provide you with a proper credencial. Now, the number of stamps that you need per day depends on where you're walking from. If you're walking a long distance, say from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, or from even Lyon, Astorga, you only need 1 stamp per day. In the back of this credencial, it tells me that as of 2002, the Pilgrim office in Santiago requires anyone starting the Camino after Ponferrada to obtain 2 stamps per day. I've read on the Camino forum that for at least the last 100 kilometers, you definitely need to get 2 stamps per day. If you're starting, say, from Ponferrada, it might not hurt to just get 2 stamps per day. If you're only starting from there anyway, it might be nice to have some extra stamps. This is obviously just to prove that you walked it. It would be easy to, just drive the last 100 kilometers and get this Compostela without having actually walked it, so that's why they want you to have more proof if you're just walking the last 100 kilometers. If you're biking, you need at least 2 stamps per day for the last 200 kilometers. Stamps for your Camino passport can be obtained in a bunch of different places. You can get them from the albergues. If you're staying in an albergue, they'll automatically give you one. You can get them from pretty much any bar along the way, any cathedral, church, hotel, a pension, a tourist office, a lot of different places. Now for the Compostela that you get once you reach Santiago. If you don't feel like seeing what they look like, I would advise you to leave this video now. I have a friend who was like that, who I was giving advice about the Camino, and he came over and was looking at all my gear and stuff, and then I was going to show him my Compostela, and he's like, no, don't show me, I want it to be a surprise. So if you don't want to know what they look like, leave now. So when you get to the Pilgrim office, there are 2 different types of certificates that you could end up getting. One is the proper Compostela, and I learned on my first Camino that you only get this if you specify that you walked for religious reasons. One of the questions on the form that you fill out when you get there is your motivation for walking, and the options are religious, religious and other reasons, or just non-religious reasons. I checked non-religious reasons, and the man who was helping me at the Pilgrim office said, if you check that, you're not going to get a Compostela. So I folded, and he let me change it so that I could get one, and afterwards I was really disappointed in myself that I wasn't just true to who I am and just be okay with not getting the Compostela. This is what my Compostela looks like. and They write your name in Latin, so my middle name is Kathleen, but that's how it turns out in Latin. And they date it, and they give you a final stamp in your pilgrim passport right on the first page. On my second Camino, I was very adamant that, okay, this time I'm going to be true to myself. I'm not religious, I'm not doing it for religious reasons, I don't want to lie about it. And so if you specify that you didn't do it for religious reasons, you get this certificate, which is in Spanish. And they just write your name in English or whatever language your name is rather than the Latin version. And so this certificate is basically just welcoming you to Santiago, and it's just something that you can also show to prove that you walked the Camino, even though it's not a proper Compostela. Also at the Pilgrim Office, to keep your Compostela safe, you can buy one of these tubes to wrap it up in. I think these are €1 or something. Very useful, so you don't have to fold it or anything like that. Yeah, so there we go, just a little quick video about credenciales and Compostelas. In the description below, I'm going to link the organizations from which you can buy some credenciales if you are from those countries. Thanks for watching, buen camino, see you next time.